Well, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. Good times. So Scar here, bringing you another episode of StudTech, and we're in here in Scar's carpentry headquarters. And what we're gonna do real quick is make one of these super cool swords. So this one right here in the tool forge, the cleaver. I think it would be pretty cool. So we're gonna use bronze on this one for fun, just to kind of get it going. I didn't want to use my the pink stuff because that's a little more rare, and I think this one might be kind of fun. Ooh, that's got some decent durability there. And yeah, I kind of like that. So let me know what kind of cool modifications we can do for swords, because I've never really done a tinker's sword before. So I think that would be kind of fun. And I want to give that up to you guys. Let me know what would be some cool modifiers to place upon the sword. All right, let's get started. So as you know, we've been working very hard on our Pam's Harvestcraft mods, little shop headquarters building, if you will. So we've been working on that. Now, it turns out when I really looked at the building once we'd finished the previous episode, I realized I made it way bigger than I intended. It's actually about 2 or so blocks wider, or maybe even 4 blocks wider than I anticipated. And I also decreased the size of this wing right here by 2. Remember, we had talked about that in the previous episode. So I just brought it back by 2. But I think it's okay. We'll have a lot more room within the building to do decorations, so that's definitely a plus. Now, you might also notice there's some dirt above there. Now, why, Scott? Why is there dirt up there? I'll give you the answer. The tinkers, or not the tinkers, but the carpenter's blocks, the stairs, are a little finicky, and they don't really like to go next to each other, but if you lay down a base of dirt, it seems to mitigate the problem. So I'll show you that once we get into the build. So what we're going to work on first is we're going to jump on up here. So let's get on up here and get to work. So bring that down. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get out our chisel mod, and we're going to get out a little bit of spruce, and we're going to get these planks right there. Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to place those in here. So I'm going to get rid of you, and I'm going to start to ring those all along there. Now I actually might keep that block there. I might replace that block over here once again with that dirt block. So let me swoop in here and replace that with a wonderful dirt block. One of our favorite blocks, right? Dirt's one of our favorite blocks, right? Yes. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so we've got that section complete. So this will just add a little bit of contrast for the upper level. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get out our stairs. And we're going to start to lay out the stairs. So from right here, we're going to start to bring these across. And they're already getting finicky again. So sometimes these things can be just a bit finicky, like that one back there. But for the most part, they're awesome. But the stairs can be a little goofy sometimes. But anyway, what we're going to do for the stairs material, once we get this all kind of laid out. And the reason we're doing this in carpenter's blocks is because the chisel mod doesn't have stair variants for the blocks that we need. So we're going to have to use the carpenter's blocks. And now the theme I'm going to go for, the base layer of the roof line, is going to be a very smooth stone. So I've kind of considered, using a bit of marble, but I think I'm going to go with stone. I'm going to save the marble for another project. That's for Stan's house. So we're going to use some form of the stone, but something smooth. So we're going to use something smooth on there, and I think that'll be pretty cool. And whoops, see, sometimes these guys are a little bit goofy. So smooth, and then from that we're going to place a little bit more detailed block on top of it to make it look like, what am I trying to say? It's going to look more like, let me get these guys built in here. Oh no, we've fallen. It's going to look a little bit more like shingles. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And just getting all these blocks down here. Now I'm going to probably have to move the, our good friends over there are lions, because they might get in the way, and I want to do the zoo that we're all going to work on together, I hope, a little bit farther down that way, so it's just a little ways away from the village. It'll just give everything a little bit nicer feel to it. All right, wonderful. Everything is coming together really nice. So after we finish this area, we'll work on, of course, the crops and the flowers and different things like that. And then I want to work on a blacksmith and a weapons and a toolsmith and all sorts of different things like that for the village, because I think those will be really fun. So we'll do a little tool forge, and then within each of the houses, of course, there'll be a little shop, where it sells all the different things. I don't think anything will actually be for sale, but it'll just give that impression or that feel that, it's villages, working, everybody's got jobs and businesses humming, we got to, of course, we've got to make Stan feel good about losing his hot tub and everything like that because, he just lost his way like we talked about in the previous episodes, like this block right here who doesn't want to cooperate. Hello, you have a job and you're not doing it. What are you doing, my friend? What are you doing? There you go. Good little block. He's a good little block, isn't he? All right, and we're going to bring that block up to about there, and then we're going to hold it. I may need to get some more of these carpenter stairs because things are going to be a little tight as we round the corner here. Let me check my inventory. I've got about 50. Well, we might. Oh, hey, we'll make it. We'll make it. Wow, there's carpenter's blocks for days around here. There are carpenter's blocks for days. There we go. So we also got to work on a little bit more of our windows. So we're going to work on our windows a little bit. So I want to install some more windows. I don't want to make these 100% permanent in the show floor area, which we're working on right now. So this is the show floor that we're placing the roof upon because, inside I want to do shelves and things like that. And I don't want the windows to interfere with that. Okay, so let's come on down. Let's come on down. There we go. And let's clean up our scaffolding. There we go. Wonderful. Nice. This is looking really good. Okay, now let's move on to our next phase here. And that is getting some more decoration blocks up here. So it has a little bit fancier feel to it. So we're just going to start to make these little bit of detail. As you can see, we're going to place down a block like so, and then place that up there. And then, oh, no, not that. That's a scar mistake. That is a scar mistake. And we'll just kind of continue this along here. So we'll jump up here. There we go. I couldn't even see for a second. Like, I couldn't see what I was placing. My microphone was in the way. I'm like straining my neck to look around. Oh, there we go. Get that down like so. Awesome. Yeah, so I got this new windscreen for Christmas. So it was like blocking my view, and I'm like, I can't see anything. Like right now, I still can't see. I can't get that out of there. There we go. Awesome. All right, so get these blocks up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take an additional layer of carpenter's blocks, and we're going to place them under. Now, I'll show you kind of why that is once we get back down here a little bit. There we go. Oh, we're actually going to have to remove this section. Ooh, I didn't anticipate that. But that's okay. That's totally okay. We'll figure this out. We'll, add our additional blocks in these sections that are empty right here too. So we'll get that going too. So yeah, so let me finish up fixing up this section a little bit, cleaning up the little shards of mess up, and I'll be right back. All right, and welcome back. So cleaned up a bit, and what we're gonna do is I place these carpenter's blocks down below like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to get right under them like that. And we're just going to add an additional bit of logs on the bottom here. Now we're just going to jump on down and place that like so. And ooh, it looks like this one needs a bit of a hit. There we go. And then we'll place that one right there. And then we'll fly on over here. And we'll place that one there. So I'm looking at this house again, just doing some thinking, I also completed what we did over here on that eave and then back there also. The top, it's a little top heavy up here, as you can see, but we'll try to kind of fix that a little bit. I'm going to do what I can. So what happened was it was originally going to be 9 blocks long. I accidentally did it about 13, but that's okay. It's fine. At least we have some more room to kind of work with in the interior. So it's just a little top heavy, but that's okay. So I'm going to sleep the night away because there's all sorts of creepy things in these woods, and then we'll work on our roof. All right, and welcome back. So I was kind of playing around with some different materials for our roof, and this is the one I think I'm going to go with. So this is a really kind of a smooth stone that I got with the chisel mod, and then I got this additional brick, as you can see right here, and I placed that just on the top like that, just add it to the top. And I like that. I also really like this one, how it adds that, just that additional line right there. It's a tough one. Yeah, I kind of ruled out that one, so it's kind of between these two. I don't know. I'm leaning towards this one. I'm leaning towards the bigger box with the additional lines on the top. You could also do is a wood top. So, ooh, that's so many possibilities. But we have a lot of buildings to do. So, we could do multiple designs on different buildings. I think that'll be super cool. And I appear to be completely out of scaffolding, which is really sad, actually. There we go. All right, so let's grab out our chisel and we'll get to work here. So let's get that on going. And it was this block, I believe. Nice, nice. All right, so let's get started. So we'll just start to add these little blocks in here, and then we'll add the additional detail on the top. You know, we could even stagger it. Maybe even one of them where we don't add that second block like so. To get rid of that, we can just do that. So we just knock it off in case we, you know, accidentally add an additional one that we don't want or something along those lines. But anyway, I think this is all coming out. You know, like I spoke about before, it's a little bit bigger than I anticipated. And I feel like the roof or the second story is a little top heavy. It's a, you know, I wish there was an additional block on the bottom level to kind of balance out the top. But anyway, I think it's fine. We have millions and millions of little houses to build as we go along in this fun series. So I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think we can cover it up or maybe even make some small modifications in the future. But I think it'll be okay. And I think once we add the greenhouse, I think that's going to be what makes this building really stand out. Yeah, so it's super exciting to, like I said before, is use these blocks. I mean, they're so new and different, and it just makes you kind of just, wow, you just kind of marvel in all the ideas that are possible. Now, I love survival building. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my roller coaster project, but this is also a really fun kind of distraction from that too. So I've got a couple different things, you know, kind of brewing in my mind as I you know, make my videos and stuff. So that's cool. That kind of have a contrast of, you know, the pure vanilla survival epic build, and then these kind of fun creative little you know, mod builds. So it's super fun. I like these ones because you can be a little more creative, you know, with all your different possibilities with all the different blocks and all that good stuff. But yeah, so there we go. But I'm almost feeling like it's time for another adventure. I think we should get some of the crew together and go out and look for another animal for the zoo. So one of the things was Wells wanted to go for a woolly mammoth, and yeah, so that's definitely one. I want to find a crocodile too. And so for the zoo, what I've been thinking is we can, you know, do little habitats for each one of the animals. So within its enclosure, you know, for take the crocodile, for instance, you know, of course you want some type of swampy environment for him. You know, that's what he enjoys, a little swampy environment. And then, you know, you can add all sorts of fun, you know, unique designs for that. So I'm looking forward to doing the zoo. I think that's going to be fun. And it'd be cool if we can, you know, incorporate everybody on the server can get in on it. And, you know, build, you know, each one pulls up, you know, their own little project within the zoo. And I think that would be pretty fun. So hopefully we can start to organize that and get that going, because I think that'll be really cool. All right. So now we got to decide, my friends. We got to decide. Got to decide. And you know me and decisions, not the greatest thing. These don't really work out that great. But let's say we go with this one. We're going to go with this one. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a shot. If we don't like it, we can always kind of take it off. I kind of like it. I kind of like the little extra detail this will provide the roof line. Now, like I mentioned before, now if you're following along, building something similar, try it with wood. Just give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try just a small section on the back, just to kind of see what a wood shingle would look like on top of the stone, or even a contrasting color of stone. You know, maybe something a little darker might be really cool too. So yeah, so I'm just going to continue. Whoops, that's a mistake. I'm just going to continue to add these blocks here, and I may try something else. I might experiment a little bit more, but yeah, so things are coming together very nicely, and I'll see you in just one moment. All right, and welcome back, and look at that roof up there. As you can see, I've added some additional ones on the facing outside, so you can see there's a little bit of difference there. Just makes it look like it's a little bit, you know, more hand, you know, carved out. This is something that I want to continue to kind of refine and work on a little bit. I don't want this to be the final product yet, and that's the same for the whole house. Like all these new blocks and stuff, totally new to me, so I want to you know, experiment a little bit more with them, like maybe adding just a half slab above this door. I don't even know, can we even do that just for fun real quick? Come on. Oh no, this is actually just a stair thing. Oh no, oh Scar, what have you, oh gosh, I just did bad stuff. Anyway, let's go over here so we don't have to look at my destruction that I just caused. And I want to make a window right here. I want to make a window. Let's see, let's do it about, yeah, let's do it right there. do it right there. So I was considering, maybe a bigger window, but I think that might be a little off scale. So we're just going to kind of carve out this section right there. And of course, we're going to put our handy carpenter's blocks like so. And then we'll just remove that for 1 second. And we're going to look for that. I'm going to swoop up these extra blocks that we dropped. And I'll pop back in here, insert those over there. And then, of course, we'll add our shutters. And those aren't the right shutters. No, those aren't the right shutters. Let me fix that. I don't know which ones I had in my inventory, but those clearly were not the right ones. These are the right ones. Here we go. There, nice. There we go. There's our shutters. And I forgot to mention, I did insert a window on that upper level. Now I'm thinking about adding, like I talked about down here. Oh gosh, that looks awful. Adding a half slab or some stairs above it a little bit too. I think that might look nice also. So lots of little tweaks here and there. I don't want to be, completely finished with it now. Of course we have the interior and stuff, but yeah, I'm just going to continue to kind of refine and change the blocks as we kind of go along a little bit. And I think that'll be good. So let me get that up there. I think that looks nice. So we're gonna have to add our half slabs. So let me get those out real quick. There we go. Got those and got those. Good. I actually have some extras. Good. And then we'll run those along there like so. Wonderful. And then we'll knock that out there. And it looks like we're gonna need some more wood because we are just running right out of that stuff. It turns out, at the original, start of the project, I'm like, awesome. We've got so much loot or so many resources and stuff. I've used nearly every bit of my oak wood on this project. I'm running dry, my friends. I'm running dry. So let me get that going. And then I'm going to get that right there. Awesome. Okay. So we got the window inserted there, looking super snazzy. And yeah, well guys, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And in our next episode, we'll continue to make this thing super snazzy, and we're going to build our greenhouse right off the back here, and then that's going to really make this house pretty cool. And then we'll work on our fields out here. We're going to have our crops and our orchards and all sorts of other stuff, and that elephant is so excited for the crops and stuff. He's gonna get in there and he's gonna eat it all. He's super excited. And well guys, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. If you leave the video deserved rating, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter.